everyone to my game engine DevLog. Since the first video, which was, to be honest, most like how to set it up and compile it, I have worked on various parts of the engine, and actually I don't remember what was the state of the engine back then and what's the difference. So I will not do the update or the diff of the engine, but my working on various parts of the engine took me to the idea that the engine is not moving anywhere. It's just random collection of different graphical techniques and it's not really improving. And as you can see from the branches, I'm working on many parts of the engine at the same time, and it's not actually putting everything together. So I thought a little bit about how to give it some goal or some finish line, and I decided that, well, it is the game engine after all, and so let's try it and build some game inside of it. On the way, let's improve the engine. Before we will get to the actual game update part, I would like to just show you how the engine looks like now. We can discuss the plan for games. The engine is pretty simple and it misses a lot of things. You can control it, but any development in the engine is actually impossible. You can have different scenes, so if I go to open level, open the dark one and just hope that it won't crash, and you can see that it has a lot of problems, like the lighting is wrong. To move anything you have to go there, actually write the position, and even though I changed the position of the light, you can't see any change because it's probably lost somewhere inside the geometry. If I open, I think it's a light test, it will even crash the engine on the way. So, oh, it won't. Oh, it loaded Sponza, which looks terribly. You've got a lot of artifacts everywhere, no alias, anti-aliasing. There are a lot of things to improve actually. Now if we move to the actual code base, its best example would be experiment window there. It's just hard-coded everything inside, even the start scene. There's some random mesh being generated in the application initialization. You have to specify a lot of things for each pass that are actually the things I would like to improve, but the way how to find the things I would like to improve is not actually through the engine development, because when you're developing engine you are not actually thinking about usability, you're thinking about, oh, I would like to implement this technique and I would like to implement physics, I would like to implement sounds, I would like to change my render to Vulkan for no actual reason. And that's the reason I would like to start implementing a game. I would like to go game first, engine then. That way I will see what I need to implement for better usability before I will implement it. That's for example what Godot engine is trying to do right now. Solve the problems, not create the problems arbitrarily to solve them. The first thing you need in order to start implementing some game, you need an idea. So I thought, what are the games I'm currently playing? And there's a little problem. I'm not actually into computer games. I'm into the game engine development. That's a little catch, but then I thought about, oh, what I have played when I were a kid and I enjoyed it. And I remember one game which I actually enjoyed a lot. I haven't been able to find the copy of a game because it's somewhere at my parents', but I found some screenshots online. It's called Immortal Cities: Children of the Nile, and when I was a child I really enjoyed a strategy game, and this one is special as you are not a ultimate god of the world. You've got some citizens and you need to fulfill their needs in order to develop the city and improve your kingdom. And I can see that in such a builder game I can try a lot of things I would like to see in my game engine. I'm not really sure about the art style or anything like that, but if I think about the game as the engineer, I can see that I will need to improve my entity component system, I will need to improve my lighting, my camera frustum culling, I will need to improve my animations, I will need to implement simple AI from the scratch as I don't have any AI there. I will not need any fancy physics because they are nothing really physically simulated. And also what I really like about it, you can decide in one moment, okay, this is finished game, I don't need to implement the feature B, feature C, oh this looks like a nice feature. I decided that my game will be RTS. It will have some of the techniques from the Immortal Cities. For example, I really want to not be ultimate god. I want to have some citizens and their needs and just be fulfilling them. The another advantage of that is that I don't really need to model some complex animations because I don't know how to work with animations. I don't know how to rig a model. I don't know how to animate it, and so on. So it will be mostly as just hard surface modeling, which I'm kind of able to do in Blender. So that's one of the advantages of a game theme. The way I would like to implement the game is that I will always set some small goal, or not so small but separated goal, and implement that and then move to another problem in my engine. And as I thought about the game I described previously, the first thing I think I really need is improve my entity component system. From the engineering part of the view, entity component system right now is just this plain array full of entities. Each entity contains somewhere component container, which is just multi-map filled with component pointers and so on. It's not really optimized for a large number of entities. It will maybe get a little bit laggy, but this I will realize after some time of development of the game, when I will fill the world and see what's happening. But filling the world is the actual problem of my engine, as I am not able to save a scene, I am not able to create prefabs, and I am not even able to create new entity from the engine. Entity window just don't have any add entity button and so on. So my first goal would be to have a nice editor where I can add entities, add components, and save the scene. My usual approach to solve a problem is to find the dependencies between the problem. So, for example, as I talked about the adding of a new component or entity into a word, it is actually useless unless you have a way to save the scene. And nice way to save the scene hierarchy is actually to have some reflection and being able to automate it. Right now in the engine, if you want to create a new entity, so let's say static mesh, you've got to create a static mesh builder which implements the deserialization from XML, which is usually a lot of copy pastes, and you have to implement it for each component. Then you need to take this class and register it into a component builder factory. And all of that seems to me like a thing that should be and could be simply automated. For the automation of this process, the way I decided to implement this is by using RTTR, Runtime Type Reflection, which is an open source library which allows you to register your types and reflect their members, and then you can implement some algorithm to serialize and deserialize your structs and your data. That will automate my scene loading and saving and save me a lot of time of just typing XML by hand. That would be it for today's devlog. I put myself some goal and I will try to upload an update as soon as possible. Well, it will probably take more time as I expect to, as usually, and also beside of this my little hobby project, I'm finishing my university, I'm working part-time in gaming company, so I hope it will be done as soon as possible. Until next time, have a good time.